Salam, hi.
What's up, Peace?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you Muslim?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Mashashua. Hey, Barry, you want to?
What did
Mashashua.
you say?
Mashashua is what he said. Do you believe Allah is evil?
Define evil?
Hey,
What do you
Muslim,
mean
you
by
gotta
evil?
give the
Opposite of good,
app
away from God's will.
permission.
Okay, so you're asking me if God is against his will?
Yep.
That doesn't even make sense.
Okay. So the answer is
No,
no, he's not evil?
I believe that Allah created everything in a specific predisposition, right? And evil is part, like, in a sense that good comes with bad, male with female, darkness with light, etc. This is like the law of duality we read in the Quran. But evil actions, qada, this is another term, qada, is basically what we take actions in. And that is, these evil actions comes from us.
That's not what it says in the Quran. Allah says actually he created that.
What do you mean? Can you provide the verse?
Yeah, hold on. I think it's 36. Hold on one second. No, not that one. There's another one. Hold on.
Yeah, many people confuse the concept of qadr, which is like predestiny, and qada, actions we take. And
37, chapter
Hey,
37, verse
Zara.
96.
Zara Grace.
can you read it? I don't have
If I get a
device.
YouTube guest,
Man,
you can
word
hit
is
that
right,
link
yo. They
up
don't
there.
have the Quran with them. That's crazy. All right, no worries.
Oh,
Hit the
hold
link
on. I
up
have
there and you can come up
a
with me
paper
and
Quran
debate,
in English. Hold
sister.
on. Wait.
Actually, start at verse 9, chapter 37.
Okay,
Yeah.
verse 9. Okay.
Start at verse 95 and then 96 is the one, but it's all one sentence.
28 and 479.
Okay.
Sorry, you said first 37, verse 9, right?
Verse 95 and 96
Okay, thank you.
together. Can you read it out loud for the audience?
My English is not that good. Well, I'll try. Bismillah.
If you want, I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. It says he argued, how can you worship what you carve with your own hands when it is Allah who created you and whatever you do? It says Allah created you and whatever you do. It's your actions.
You're reading 37?
37, 95, and 96. He argued, how can you worship what you carve with your own hands when it is Allah who created you and whatever you do?
It's weird. I don't have the same thing.
What are you reading? Are you in Surah As-Safat?
Mm-hmm.
95 and 96?
How can you worship things you carved?
Yeah, read that. Nice and loud.
Okay, handiwork is the word I have. Handiwork.
Not in the Arabic, no. That's whatever you do.
Okay.
Or whatever you make in the Arabic.
Okay, and why is that like against what I just told you before?
Because if you read the tafsir, right, the Arabic can go one or two ways. It can go to referring to that specific action, which is Moses talking to the Israelites of making an idol, or it can just be in general, all your actions. Either way, according to Ibn Kathir, he leans towards he creates your actions, because there's a hadith that says that he writes before your soul is put in your body. He actually writes what you're going to be beforehand, and we're just discussing the hadith earlier. That even if someone commits good all the way till he almost gets to paradise, if what was written for him was evil, he will then begin to start doing evil. Not by his own choice, it says. It's because of what Allah wrote for him. So because Ibn Kathir used the hadith, he says that the better translation of this is he creates whatever you do.
Okay, but you know that there is a book of our action that is written. Like it's spoken a lot in the Quran. Every action we do is recorded.
Yeah, it's written ahead of time before you're created.
Okay, but like you have to understand that the time and space is for us.
Okay.
We did like in time and space.
Yeah, but it was decided by Allah before you were created on what you would do.
But when you say before, after is like it's not applicable to God.
It is when it comes to creation, right? So beforehand, it was already written down what you would do before you were created. You weren't created at the beginning of creation, right? So before you were born, it was already written, correct?
Yeah, that's what we call predispositions, qadr.
Yeah.
Like the way we are born, the process of how we are born, we're born with different like the shape, the hands, everything is predisposed.
Can you do anything? Can you do anything the opposite of what is written for you?
Can I do that? Like you can't. Okay, hold on. Listen. What is written is the way things works, not like your specific life in a sense.
Hey guys, what's that hadith? I forget the number of it. Let me pull it up because she's saying
Which
something
one? Where
about it.
he's
All the limits of the human body. Okay, it's predisposed. Now you decide to drive a car and go fast and hit a wall. That's on you. It's not like you can't say, "Oh, I died because." Many people make that mistake and say, "Oh,
Never mind, I
I
found it.
died because God willed so." Yes, but
I
the
got it.
will
Here.
comes from the predisposition of your body, the way it's made.
Here, let me show you this hadith, okay? 1 second. Someone can give me a big screen. I don't know if Word is here. He's probably talking to somebody on YouTube. All right, there we go. All right, you see? This is Sahih al-Bukhari, right? 3208. Allah's Messenger, the truly inspired, said, "The matter creation of a human being is put together in the womb of the mother in 40 days, and then he becomes a clot of thick blood for a similar period, and then a piece of flesh for a similar period. Then Allah sends an angel who is ordered to write 4 things. He is ordered to write down his deeds, his livelihood, his date of death, and whether he will be blessed or wretched in religion. Then the soul is breathed into him. So a man amongst you may do good deeds till there is only a cubit between him and paradise, and then when what has been written for him decides," I'm going to read it again, "what has been written for him decides his behavior." It doesn't say the man decides his behavior, but what has been written for him decides his behavior, and he starts doing evil deeds, characteristic of the people of the hellfire.
Decides on the day of judgment.
No, that's not what it says. That's not what it says. It says he can be till there is only a cubit between him and paradise. He can be doing good deeds. So a person could be good all his life. But if it was written that he was going to be evil, he could get as close to paradise, and then what has been written for him decides his behavior. And he starts doing evil deeds characteristic of the people of the hellfire.
Okay, I'm not familiar with this hadith. I'll study it. Can you give me the number? Because
Sahih al-Bukhari 3208. Book 59, Hadith 19.
okay,
right
thank you so much. I'll take a screenshot. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Did you need it again? Sorry.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, but again, I think that from my study of the Quran, it has to do with the day of judgment. It's right in a sense. Like from my understanding, I have to study that hadith, but in general, yes, your deeds, you'll be held accountable for them.
Yeah, but Allah is the one who decided it.
No, because there is free will that humans and beings are given.
No, there
But
isn't.
it's
According to the
within
Quran in 3796, He created your actions, and is backed up by your hadiths that says that He writes down these 4 things. One of your scholars, it wasn't Ibn Kathir, somebody else actually, for the tafsir of 3796, actually cited that hadith in order to prove his point. But even Ibn Kathir translates, Allah has created every doer of deeds what he does. Thereupon he recited, while Allah has created you and what you make. When the proof had been established against them, they resolved to seize him by force, etc. They were talking about that. But even Ibn Kathir says that this is what it means. Actually, look, here's what it says too in the tafsir. While Allah has created you and what you make. This may mean Allah has created you and what you do, or it may mean Allah has created you and what you make. Both views are synonymous. The former is more apparent because of the report recorded in Al-Bukhari, and he's talking about the hadith I just read you. So that hadith proves that he creates your actions.
And what do you do about all the verses that tells you to follow?
I don't need to do anything. You need to look at it and say, I don't need to do anything. You need to look at all those other verses and say, uh-oh, contradiction.
It's not a contradiction if you don't understand the basic concepts.
Okay, then what does this mean that he created your actions?
Qadar and qada is the basic concept you're arguing right now. It's like predestiny and actions in translated.
So
what else can? Oh, go ahead, Christian. Go ahead, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. I was just gonna say. So when Muhammad says in Sahih Muslim 2658a that Allah fixed the very portion of adultery that a man is going to indulge in, and that there's no escape from it, you're saying that that's free will?
Man, like a specific man or man in general?
Men in general. It says Allah fixed the very portion of adultery which
No,
a
he has a
man will
group
indulge
of
in.
he has a select number of men that he has appointed to go into adultery, and they can't escape it.
It would, I don't know, again, I'm not well versed in hadith, but it would make sense in the sense that actions, like it's not always like, for example, your actions can be affected by the actions of your parents or the actions of others. In order for people to be tested or feel like go through life process, of course there has to be someone else doing the bad, etc., and certain
That doesn't fit though, peace.
events will affect your.
That doesn't fit though, because you're saying, oh, of course Allah has to do this in order to test them. That's assuming that they can actually make another choice away from adultery. But the hadith says they cannot escape it. What kind of test is that if they can't escape it?
No,
The
but it
point is,
takes a portion
the
of
point is
bad
that your
for.
actions are decided for you already. That's what they're trying to say. How are
Yeah,
you
no,
going to be
but
held
like,
accountable for actions that have been decided for you before you were born?
I don't know about that specific hadith, but it would make sense in the general concept of qadar, which is like, for example, the actions of others will test your own decisions of making the right choice. But if everything is good around you, then what's the choice?
Then qadar is a contradiction.
No, but if you're telling me like there is no adultery on earth, is it like
No, I'm not saying that.
you're gonna
I'm
be
saying it's
tested
a
on
contradiction because
what?
you're saying, according to qadar, like there is actions that humans choose on their own, but then you have hadiths that say the opposite, that your actions are actually that Allah chooses your actions. That hadith that Christian just brought up and the one that I brought up explicitly say, number one, on his hadith says they can't escape from what Allah has fixed. And then the hadith that I showed you, it says what has been written for him decides his behavior.
Okay, I don't know about that, but like it would make sense.
But it doesn't make sense, ma'am. It doesn't make sense. The point is, what you're saying is that, oh, they have the option to do this action. No,
No.
it's
I'm not
either.
saying they have the option. There will be a specific fixed scenarios, or I don't know how to explain it, but a fixed bad, let's say, for good to happen. If everything is good around you, how would you?
So he makes you do bad things so that way I can do good things? That makes sense? He makes one person do bad so that way someone else can do good? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, for example, I give you a simple example. Someone is born into poverty, right? Like it's like you can say it's fixed, but it's not fixed. It's a choice of his parents, blah blah blah. But down to the fact that he's born in poverty, that bad can bring a choice for him. Good.
Being born in poverty is not equivalent to being born to do evil.
I don't believe anyone is born to do evil.
Well, then you're going against your own religion.
Like in a sense of like evil, like as a baby, but then you I don't know. Like
We just read two hadiths
fitra.
and a Quranic verse that literally says that Allah creates your actions. And then not only that, it decides
Yeah,
the
the
behavior and you
limits of
can't
your
escape
actions,
it.
of course. You can't do everything, like you know it, like as a human, right?
But it
You know
decides
that
good or
you're
evil for
limited.
you. It literally decides your good and evil for you as to whether you're going to hell or not. It's been decided not by you, but by what was written.
Yeah, if you take God outside of the realm of time, I could understand where this hadith comes from, but it's not like you don't have a choice to make good or bad. You know exactly as a human that you wake up
That's a
every
contradiction
day,
piece.
Okay.
you
Speaking
wake
of
up every
babies,
day
then.
and make a choice. Like,
Speaking of babies, then, right? Like Sahih Muslim 2662c, it says, "O Aisha, can it not be otherwise? Verily, Allah created some people for paradise while they were yet in their father's loins, and He created others for the fire while they were yet in their father's loins."
Give her the context of the hadith too, so she understands.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is there was a child, a baby that dies, and Aisha basically makes this claim like, oh, this child certainly isn't, he went to heaven, right? And then Muhammad essentially corrects her and says no, like we don't know where he went because Allah predestined some to go to paradise and some to go to hell. So even if the baby didn't grow up and had no deeds whatsoever, he could essentially be in hellfire because he was created for hellfire.
Okay, yeah, we have a similar story, yeah. But again, it's like
No, that is your story.
That's from the Quran. I mean, that's from your hadith.
yeah, there's also a similar story with Moses and I forgot the name.
Moses and Al-Qadr.
Exactly.
Al-Qadr, he unalived the baby, a kid, and he wasn't even bad yet.
But like this is where it comes for. Again, there is wisdom in it, but this is where it comes from.
What's
like
the wisdom?
believing
Hold on.
God knows.
Hold on.
Is all-knowing,
Peace vibe. What is the wisdom in unaliving a baby before it even committed sin? What's the wisdom behind that?
It's what the story teaches.
Yeah, but what's the wisdom behind it?
No, but he was going to make like the fruit of that person, or we say child, but in that verse you can take it like child fruit of that being will have consequences on his parents, etc. And if you go on through the story, you'll understand that there are things that basically, the moral of the story is there are things that seems like off, good or bad in life, but in reality it's for a better good.
So what if a cop come up right now and put you in handcuffs and take you to jail and say, I know, Peace, that you're going to steal something 5 years from now. Would that be justifiable?
You're talking about a cup.
I'm just saying, this is the principle. It's the principle. The principle still follows.
Well, that would work if the cop lives in another life and he knew my future, like
no,
he
I'm just
predicted
saying. Let's say he did. Would that be justifiable to put you in jail now for something that you might do 5 years from now?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
If, let's
and you
say
haven't committed the
a
crime?
danger for humanity and you prevent the danger.
But you
of
haven't
course,
committed
go
the
for
crime
it.
yet. You haven't even committed
No,
the crime yet.
No. But you prevent the crime.
But you're
But in the
suffering
end,
for
yeah,
something you haven't done yet.
To be completely honest, it will be unfair in this world. Like, oh, I'm
Exactly.
accused of
That will be
maybe I will
unfair.
do something. Yeah, because you have to provide the proof if you accuse someone, etc. And this is something even Islam teaches: provide your proof, your witnesses, etc.
So what is Al-Qadr? So how did Al-Qadr? Is Al-Qadr Allah, the way he knew that this baby was going to do this? And so he took it upon himself to enact justice upon this little kid?
No, he was commanded by Allah.
And that's totally fair.
He knew things that Moses didn't know.
And that's totally fair in your eyes.
Of course.
Okay.
Like if God
so why if this baby
like
was to
you guys know from your Bible, right?
So if this
you
baby so now let's go to the baby. So if this baby that was at the funeral, he just died, so it'll be fair for Allah to send him to hell and just because of something that he would have did in the future. That's fair?
Oh, now the judgment is not taught in the story. What was taught is like his life was shortened.
No, I'm talking about the hadith that they just read you, sister.
The hadith, like I said, I'm not well versed in hadith, to be honest. So again, but it comes back to the same principle. Like, what would be the choices if everything around you is good? Like there has to be a fixed term. This is what we call the law of duality. Good, it has to be the opposite of good, has to exist for good to exist. Like
hey Bear, I don't know if this is getting redundant or not. I wasn't really paying attention because I was over on YouTube.
No, you're good, bro.
No, I'm saying like, have you already? I'm pretty sure you already went through all of this with her, right?
Yeah. I mean, we are. I mean, it's a contradiction, but obviously against their beliefs.
So for you, God did not create like bad?
No.
Who created bad?
No. Evil is just a disposition. It's the privation of good. So it's a relational term.
Okay. But like that.
So for example, here, I'll give an example.
From God, right?
No, evil doesn't originate from God. It originates from creatures. It originates from creatures who have free will. So here, for example, like darkness is not a real thing. It's just an absence of light. It doesn't have an ontology. It's not created. It's just an absence of light. Or cold is an absence of heat, right? Cold is not an actual thing, you know? So it's the same concept. Evil is just the privation of good.
Okay, and even that absence, the condition of absence must have been created by the
No,
creator, right?
no, because God created everything good, but then the humanity who was given dominion over God's creation made a free will choice to then misalign all themselves and all of creation away from God's will, causing evil. But God did not create evil.
So we can create what God cannot create? Is that what you're saying?
Evil is not created, it's just a disposition.
Okay, so we're saying the same thing, it's just in different terms.
No, in Islam, evil
The
is created.
absence, for us in Islam, the qadar, the predisposition includes the duality. So you cannot say the creator created good, with good comes the bad. With
Belief,
light comes
in your
the
belief,
darkness.
evil is created.
No, evil actions comes from our hands. Like I can show you
No,
verses
I
that
just
say-
showed you a Quran verse that says Allah creates what you do.
Like, you want to believe that, that's fine. You can think that, but you clearly haven't read where Allah actually creates evil. And that
Yeah,
Allah
I already showed. It's
actually
chapter
makes
37.
What
already
if I
says.
show you? What if I show you the verse that is clear cut about actions and evil?
Then I would say you have a contradiction in your Quran.
No, because this is what you interfered from a verse that addresses.
No, here's the thing. I looked at verse 3796. If you look at the tafsir, even your scholars agree with my interpretation that Allah creates your actions, your deeds. And then it's backed up by a hadith, the one that I showed you already, Sahih al-Bukhari 3208, that you didn't know about. And then Christian brings another hadith as well that also backs that up. So my interpretation of the verse actually is in line with your belief. You're just saying no because it brings problems. I get it, but you need to back it up.
Yes, I will back it up because the verse you cited, we don't do that in Islam. Okay, we don't assume and we don't jump to conclusion. If the verse didn't say evil actions, you cannot
It did say that. It did.
I didn't read evil actions.
It says whatever you do.
I'll
And in
give
verse
you a
95,
clear
it
verse.
says he creates whatever you do. And the verse is referencing carving out idols in verse 95. That's why I had you read 95 first. So it's literally talking about an evil action and saying Allah creates whatever you do.
Right. Let me read you another verse. This is 4 Surah An-Nisa 78, 79. Now, this is literally a contradiction in back-to-back verses, right?
This the verse I was going to bring. Perfect. Okay, go
Yeah,
on.
but this don't help you. It says, wherever you may be, death will overcome you, even if you were in fortified towers. When something good befalls them, they say, this is from Allah. But when something evil befalls them, they say, this is from you, speaking to Muhammad. And then this is Allah speaking, say, O Prophet, both have been destined by Allah. So what is the matter with these people? They can hardly comprehend anything. Now, 479 says, whatever good befalls you is from Allah, and whatever evil befalls you is from yourself. But hold up. Did it in 478, it says both good and evil comes from Allah?
No. The previous verse is explaining people make the mistake of when bad happens to them, oh God, it's God's will. Something happened, disease, someone is dead, whatever, it's God's will. Or something bad happens to your life. People tend to say it's God's will. But when good happens to your life, people forget about God and say, oh, that's because I worked hard, or that's because I've done this.
Okay.
So then the verse corrects that and says, actually, whatever good you see around you, even everything, like even your hands, like we were talking about creating like a status, or everything around you, you breathing, you even what we create as humans, we create computer, okay, but the raw material doesn't come from us.
Okay,
so everything around us
I get what
comes
you're
from
saying,
God.
but you're missing this key verse right here. It says, say, O Prophet. So this is Allah telling the Prophet to say, both have been destined by Allah.
Yes, that's
okay,
true.
so both evil and good have been destined by Allah.
Yeah, That's what
Okay.
we call conduct.
Okay.
Predisposed is the right word.
So Allah is responsible for good and evil.
Destined.
What does
You
destined
need
means?
some destined predisposition, like what we were talking before. For every good thing, like there's a bad, the opposite. Like what you call you guys absence, we call it the opposite, the law of duality.
Duality, that's like Hinduism or something. The yin and the yang.
So the way things are predestined, the way things are predisposed, like your body is predisposed with a certain composition.
Predestined doesn't mean that. Predestined means that it was
Totally
already written for you.
No.
That's what. So what does destiny mean?
Yeah, written in general. Yes. Like you can't
so
go.
What does predestined? What does
God.
predestined means?
Yeah, predestined is like you can't change the way things work.
Exactly. So if evil comes, then it's from Allah because it was already predestined for you.
Yeah. Now this is the slippery. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like
because
it's slippery for you. Exactly.
No, because this is where people really confuse predestiny with actions. Like just because things are predestined to have both good and bad doesn't mean you have.
We literally brought Quran verses, tafsirs, and hadiths that show that the actions are caused by Allah, and you keep arguing it, and you're not bringing anything to back it up. Like that's why.
Ma'am, if Allah already wrote down everything you're going to do before you were born, could you do anything else? Could you go against what He wrote down?
You talking about humans or you talking about me? Because Allah did.
You're not human?
Are you a human?
Wait, are we talking to a non-human?
If you're talking within the limits of humans, everything is written. You can't go against the laws
against something
of God.
that was already written by Allah. Can you go against it? Can you do something else?
No, you can't go beyond the limits set by God.
All right, so if you wrote it down, you're cooked.
No free will. No free will.
You're cooked.
No, but it's not about the actions you and individuals do. It's about the realm in which we can do these actions. Like everything is predestined, predisposed. Like the law of gravity, the law of duality, you can't go against that. That's
all right, sister. You can either you can drop or you can stay on the panel. I got to move on to the other guests. Okay.
Okay.